Rumpelstiltskin. There was once a poor miller who had a very beautiful daughter. One day he happened to speak with the king, and to make himself seem important, he said that he had a daughter who could spin gold out of straw. The king said,
"That is an art that pleases me well. If your daughter is as clever as you say, bring her to my castle tomorrow that I may put her to the test."
When the girl was brought before him, the king led her into a large room filled from floor to ceiling with straw. He gave her a spinning wheel and a spindle and said,
"Now set to work. If by morning you have not spun this straw into gold, you shall surely die."
Then he locked the door and left her all alone. The poor miller's daughter sat there in despair. She had no idea how to spin straw into gold. The longer she thought, the more frightened she became, and at last she began to weep bitterly. Suddenly the door opened and in stepped a little man. He wore a crooked hat and had bright, twinkling eyes.
"Good evening, miller's daughter," he said. "Why are you crying so?"
"Oh," said the girl, "I must spin gold out of straw, and I have no idea how to do it."
The little man smiled and said, "What will you give me if I spin it for you?"
"My necklace," answered the girl. The little man took the necklace, sat himself before the wheel, and began to spin. Whir, whir, whir. 3 turns of the wheel and the first bobbin was full. Then another. Whir, whir, whir. And that one too was full. And so he went on all through the night until every strand of straw was turned into shining gold. When the sun rose, the king came and opened the door. When he saw the room glittering with gold, he was amazed and overjoyed. For he was a greedy man and could never have enough of riches. But his heart grew only hungrier. He had the girl taken into another chamber, far larger than the first, also full of straw. And he said,
"As you value your life, spin all this into gold before morning."
The girl did not know what to do, and once again she began to cry. Then, just as before, the door opened and the little man appeared.
"What will you give me this time?" he asked. "If I spin all this straw into gold?" "The ring from my finger," said the girl.
The little man took the ring and once more the wheel began to hum. Whir, whir, whir. Until dawn broke and the room shone with gold brighter than the first. The king was beside himself with joy. But still he was not satisfied. He had the girl led into a third room, larger than both the others, and filled with straw higher than her head.
"This too must be spun tonight," he said, "and if you accomplish it, you shall be my wife." For he thought to himself, "Though she is only a miller's daughter, I shall never find a woman richer in all the world."
When the girl was left alone once more, the little man appeared a third time.
"What will you give me," he said, "if I spin this straw for you once again?"
"I have nothing left to give," said the girl sadly.
"Then you must promise me," said the little man, "your first child after you become queen."
"Who knows if that will ever happen," thought the girl. But she had no choice, and in her distress she promised him what he desired. The little man began to spin, and before dawn all the straw was turned to pure gold once more. When the king came in the morning and saw the work completed, he rejoiced beyond measure. He kept his word and took the miller's daughter for his queen. A year passed and a beautiful child was born to the young queen. She had long forgotten the little man. But one day he appeared suddenly in her chamber and said, "Now
give me what you promised me."
The queen was terrified. She offered him all the treasures of the kingdom if only he would leave her the child. But the little man said,
"No. I would rather have something living than all the gold and jewels of the world."
Then the queen began to weep so bitterly that the little man took pity on her.
"I will give you 3 days," he said. "If by that time you can tell me my name, you may keep your child."
All night the queen thought of every name she had ever heard. She sent messengers through the land to seek out every name known to man. When the little man came the next day, she began, "Are you called Caspar?"
"No," he said.
"Melchior?"
"No."
"Balthazar?"
"No."
She said every name she could remember, but each time the little man answered,
"That is not my name."
The second day she sent word to all her neighbors, asking what names their servants had. When the little man came again, she asked, "Perhaps you are called roast ribs, or sheepshanks, or spindleshanks?" But he only laughed and said,
"That is not my name." On the 3rd day the messenger returned. "I have not found a single new name," he said. "But as I passed through the dark woods, I came to a high hill. Near it was a little house, and before the house burned a fire. Around the fire danced a comical little man. He hopped on one leg and sang, 'Today I bake, tomorrow I brew.' The next day, the queen's child comes in. And oh, how glad I am that no one knew that my name is Rumpelstiltskin."
The queen was overjoyed to hear this. When the little man appeared once more and asked,
"Now, my queen, what is my name?"
she said first, "Are you called Jack?"
"No," said he.
"Harry, perhaps?"
"No."
Then she smiled and said slowly, "Then your name must be Rumpelstiltskin."
"The devil told you that. The devil told you that," screamed the little man in fury. He stamped his right foot so hard that it sank deep into the ground up to his knee. Then he seized his left foot with both hands and tore himself in 2. And that was the end of him.
The queen held her child close and thanked heaven for saving them both. The king rejoiced and loved her even more for her courage and truth. From that day on, peace and happiness filled the castle once again. But some say that, on quiet nights deep in the forest, you can still hear a faint voice whispering angrily beneath the ground. The last echo of Rumpelstiltskin. And that is the end of the story.